Number 7. In number 7, I was looking for tan of 165 degrees. Now 165 degrees does fall between 90 and 180, so we are going to be working with tan of 180 degrees minus. And in this case, that would be minus 15 degrees, which means our answer would read negative tan 15 degrees. Because tan is negative in the second quadrant, only sine is positive in the second quadrant. Number 8, tan of 230 degrees is going to be the same as tan of 180 degrees plus 50 degrees, which is equal to tan of 50 degrees positive. Why? Because 180 plus puts us into the third quadrant, in which tan is positive. The 9th one we're looking for is cos of 346 degrees. That's going to be cos of 360 degrees minus 14 degrees, which is going to equal positive cos of 14 degrees. Positive because it's 360 minus, which means that we're in the fourth quadrant. Thus far, we have looked at reductions of the x-axis. That's 0 degrees plus, 360 degrees minus, 180 degrees minus, and 180 degrees plus. What happens when we do reductions of the y-axis? That's 90 degrees minus, 90 degrees plus, 270 degrees minus, and 270 degrees plus. We then move on to the y reductions. There are 3 golden rules about reduction of the y-axis. The first is that sine becomes cos and cos becomes sine. The second rule, tan becomes 1 over tan. And the third rule, when deciding whether our result is positive or negative, we always look at the original function and the original angle. Let us take a look at a few of those rules. Sine of 90 degrees minus theta will equal cos of theta. Cos of 90 degrees minus theta is equals to sine theta. Tan of 90 degrees minus theta is equal to 1 over tan theta. Sine of 90 degrees plus theta is equals to positive cos theta. Now you might say that in the second quadrant, 90 degrees plus theta falls in the second quadrant. Why is cos positive there? The reason is, as I said with rule 3, look at your original function and angle. The original function was sine of 90 degrees plus theta, which fell in the second quadrant. Sine is positive in the second quadrant, which means that our answer will be positive, even though it works out to be cos. Cos of 90 degrees plus theta will equal negative sine theta. Tan of 90 degrees plus theta will equal negative 1 over tan theta. 270 degrees, that's reducing it to the third quadrant, and then we're going to look at the fourth quadrant. Sine of 270 degrees minus theta will equal negative cos theta. Cos of 270 degrees minus theta will equal negative sine theta. And tan of 270 degrees minus theta will equal positive 1 over tan theta. Sine 270 degrees plus theta will equal negative cos theta. cos of 270 degrees plus theta will equal positive sine theta, and tan of 270 degrees plus theta will equal negative 1 over tan theta. I want you to have a go at the following exercises. I want you to reduce all of these off the y-axis this time and not the x-axis. Please note that for every x reduction, or for every reduction of the x-axis, there can be an accompanying reduction of the y-axis. For example, 180 degrees minus 30 degrees is the same as 90 degrees plus 60 degrees. We could have done that reduction either way. In this exercise, I want you to reduce them all off the y-axis only. Press pause on your DVD player, and when you return, we'll go through it together. Now in this next few examples, I used the exact same functions and angles as the previous set of examples, except I now wanted you to reduce it off the y-axis. Sine of 150 is exactly the same as sine of 90 degrees plus 60 degrees, which is equal to, now because it's 90 plus, sine becomes cos 90 plus 60, that means we are looking for cos of 60 degrees. Positive cos of 60. Yes, I do know that sine is positive in the second quadrant. 90 plus puts us in the second quadrant. Why is cos positive? Because the sign of this function at the end does not depend on this function, but rather on the original function. The original function was sine, which means that in quadrant 2, 150 degrees falls in quadrant 2, sine is positive, which means that our final answer, even though it becomes cos, stays positive, cos 60. Number 2. Cos of 210 degrees is the same as cos of 270 degrees minus 60 degrees. Because it's 270 minus, it's a y reduction, cos becomes sine of negative 60, or rather sine of 60, but cos of 210 degrees is in the third quadrant, which means that it is negative, so our answer is negative sine 60. Number 3, tan of 330 degrees is going to equal tan of 270 degrees plus 60 degrees, which is the same as 1 over 10. Because it's a y reduction, 10 goes from 10 to being 1 over 10. 1 over 10 of 60 degrees, except because it's in quadrant 4, the original function is negative in quadrant 4. That means that our function will read, or rather our answer will read, negative 1 over 10, 60. Number 4.